Good afternoon to our respected audience. In the framework of the virtual fair, CAPAC Expo Hábitat 2020, in coordinations with the Institute for Training for the Industry of Trainings, I am pleased to introduce the keynote speech called The Attraction of Investors to Panama, presented by Ms. Carmen Gisela Vergara, Executive Director for PROPANAMA in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Carmen Gisela Vergara, he is an attorney and graduated from the University of Panama. She has a master's in banking law and also working with the international studies in the International University of Santiago de Chile. Before being the executive manager for PROPANAMA, she was the executive director for the Federation of Chambers and Industrial Associations for Central America and Dominican Republic, and as General Secretary for the Secretariat for Economic Integration, CIECA, and she helped with very key important topics for the advancements. And without further ado, here is Ms. Vergara. Good afternoon. Thank you very much to the organizers of this virtual Expo Hábitat 2020, especially to the president of CAPAC and its board of directors. We thank you for the invitation of participating in this event and having the opportunity of sharing with you a little bit of the opportunities that Panama has had of making business, especially in the topics of business attractions and in the centers of infrastructures. Very quickly, we will see this presentation, but for those of you that would like to see information of these topics, of everything that we have in this afternoon, we are at your service in PROPANAMA, and you can reach us through our social media. First of all, I would like to tell you that PROPANAMA is created last year in August, thanks to the executive decree 181A signed between the president and the Minister of Foreign Affairs as part of the government plan from President Cortizo to reestablish the Agency for the Attraction and Promotion of Exports, so that the Panamanian soil can truly become a tool to be able to attract and to become a development tool for economy and social development. And so our mission is very simple. We are responsible for the attraction of direct foreign investment in Panama and the promotion of our exporting offers for low international markets. And our visions we are using as a tool external policies to be able to envision this. Among our management of the things that we do, we are working in specific areas. We have our strategic plans, and in order to put this in context, the way in which we are working on this from Panama, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Panama. Panama is a country of opportunities for everyone. Truly, as you could see in this chart, in numbers, we are a small country with in surface and in a number of populations, but we are a big country with hardworking people that open the doors of their country to the world to receive investors and treat them with the warmth and love, with the same love and warmth as we do family members. This has part of the great qualities for investments that are unique for the regions. And whenever we make these presentations, usually we are asked why Panama, what is the difference between Panama and other markets in the Latin American regions that are also trying to capture foreign investments. And well, here we can observe some of the things that make the Panamanian offer unique for international investors. this is not just one of these characteristics or some of these characteristics for separate what makes us unique, but it's the combination of all these characteristics in a single country here in Panama. And we know that many countries can claim that their geographic position is privileged to attract investment, but in Panama, that is the center of the American continent. It's not just that combination of that privileged geographic position, but also we have a world-class logistics platform that we were born dollarized. So the dollar is our legal use currency, and therefore we have this economic security, and it doesn't devalue as quickly as it does in other areas. And this actually has helped us to establish the most important financial and banking center in the regions, where you can do all trading with all the currencies used in the regions with transparencies. Also, the excellent business environment that we have here in Panama also provides you a quality of life that has been that it's delightful, and it's an environment where everybody knows each other. It's very family oriented, with a lot of stability and a lot of securities. We have medical services of high technology and with international prestige. Actually, the only Johns Hopkins hospital outside of the United States is here in Panama, with world-class physicians. That also brings us that medical tourism that will help us to make these procedures in Panama with a great quality and highly competitive with these services. And here we're talking about this investments. Panama has over 50 legislations that provide benefits and incentives to different sectors of the economy. And in this particular case, we will talk about some very specific. But if you don't see your company or the interest for investments in what we're going to discuss now, please get in touch with PROPANAMA, where we can find a regime that adapts to your specific needs. And well, we have specific infrastructures that are also for world class, that help us to develop a digital hub that we will see. And the digital hub can be used as well as other areas with the logistics, because we are also a country free of natural disasters, and we have a commercial opening that gives us access to other markets with very special conditions. Panama is also one of the best connected countries in the world. As you can see in the slide, here we have the maritime routes, the air routes, and the connections through the 7 underwater fiber optic cables that provide us this connectivity, that have cities such as New York, London, and that helps us to the development of this information. We have a broad spectrum of FTAs. We have 21 commercial agreements that allow us to have preferential treatment in 61 countries around the world. As you can see, they are represented the key markets, and we have an access to 1.3 billion consumers that can have access to your products with preferential conditions if it's manufactured and distributed from Panama. And the economic growth that Panama has had in the last decade is also very important to highlight it, because it talks about the economic sustainability that we've had in our country. As you could see, the green line is Panama. It has always been above. Even in the moments where we've had economic crisis, we've always had a growth over the Eurozone, the North America, and above even Latin America and the Caribbean. So we believe that we will come back after the recovery of the pandemic, and this is one of the reasons why the international organisms that are that are doing their estimates on how quickly the countries will recover. This is why we're there, and it is forecasted that Panama will recover faster than the other countries here. Just so you can have an idea of the distribution of the GDP by sectors, Panama is known for being a service economy at 80% or a little over 80% of our GDP is in the sectors of service. However, as you can see, the commercial and construction sector, trade and construction areas are also very important for economic development in our country. Construction sector, it's very dynamic, and it's truly something that historically in our country has developed many of the big infrastructures. The Panama Canal, at some point at the beginning of the 20th century is and in the 21st century we made history again with the expansion of the Panama Canal, that at some point we had the largest infrastructure ever made in the regions, and now entering in matters that have to do with investments, talking about we should talk to you now about the logistics hubs that Panama has. Within our program for attraction of investments, we have a small country in population-wise. However, it might not be so interesting by itself for the establishment of companies that produce from Panama to this market. However, the possibility that Panama offers and the logistic infrastructure that Panama offers to insert their products in the international markets is what makes the difference. Of course, the center of the logistic hub, we have the Panama Canal. Now that it has been expanded, that has 144 different maritime routes, and it has an access to 1,700 ports around the world. Around the canal, we have developed some private ports that also offer services to the main shipping companies worldwide that have their routes and their lines from Panama, and they manage over 7 million containers per year. Also, we have the railroad that has become a dry canal that runs parallel to the Panama Canal, where we transport approximately over 1 million containers. This is what makes this logistics offer important for the transportation of merchandise. And in the hub of the Americas, that COPA is using through the Tocumen airport, and that offers destinations through the American continents to the first, second, and third most important, and we are sure that they are going to recover very quickly once that the restrictions that are caused by the pandemics are lifted. In this hub, we have developed flights from up to 89 destinations in 2019. So the financial hub is very important as a national engine. We have banks with a license that develop their activities here, and as you can see in the chart, we have a level of deposits and assets that is very important. This is up till March 2020. This is giving us the 16th position on the indicator for competitive for financial stabilities, and the digital hub that works through the 7 continental fiber optic underwater cables that we have, that are going to be complemented with 2 additional cables that are being built at this moment. That this is giving us a connectivity similar to the one that cities like London and New York has, with the specification that Panama is virtually free of natural disasters. And we have a legislation that was approved in the second semester of last year with under the administration of President Laurentino Cortizo for the protection of personal data so that we don't have data warehouses here in Panama. And it's intended for the use of information, things such as e-commerce, data warehouses, the blockchain and the Internet of Things. Panama offers a specific advantage specific for the development of those activities, but also with this level of connectivity where we are supporting economic activities of other companies that are established here in Panama, even though their business style is not necessarily digital. Last year, we approved in the second semester in September a legislation to promote public-private partnerships. This is with the intention that the big projects that could have here, we can put them together in a project portfolio that will have the information regarding the benefits, the incentives, requirements, return of the investment of these projects, and then we could find specific investors to develop this. We can develop projects in the areas of highways, telecommunications, the development of public buildings, bridges, ports, etc. We will have this portfolio soon. We have already developed 4 projects in the portfolio, and those that would like more information about the legislation, the incentives and the requirements and the projects that we have, we are at your service to provide this information. I would like to conclude speaking about the investment regions and the incentives. First of all, we are promoting the development in the areas where our countries already have the Colon Free Zone, the largest free zone in the world after Hong Kong. We have 2 hectares where we have logistic works of repackaging and relabeling, and we have a redistribution of merchandise from Panama, merchandise that maintains its original origin so that it can make use of the benefits that the production companies have at the destination. Also, we have the installations of Panama Pacifico, a foreign, previously it used to be we have a company called London and Juvenile. This used to be an Air Force base. And London Originals, they are developing things from call centers to manufacturing of products that the area has an international airport that is enabled. And we have internal flights that depart from Panama to the interior as well. City of Knowledge, a former military base that at some point was the series of was the headquarters for Southcoms, known as Clayton. It's right next to the Panama Canal. This is an area that has been transformed, and we need to have areas. We have a technological park where we have an incubator that is operating that is going to help the entrepreneurs, and also it has the multiple international organizations that operate there. And in the center of all of this, we have academic programs special for universities and centers of study of an high international level that allow us to have educational tourism. And this will allow people to study in these programs from Panama. And finally, the free zones that are the new element to promote manufacturing here in Panama, from light manufacturing to medication productions, digital supplies, and there are no limitations to the type of products that can be established. The free zones can be established anywhere. We have 17 free zones that already exist that have facilities where you can you can rent or purchase your vessel or your terrain, and also there is a possibility to develop their own free zone, choosing terrain anywhere in the national territory, complying with the requirements, and to have the certification as an administrator. And in that case, you can promote the companies that will be coming to operate in their free zone. And in order to be able to develop with all these activities, we can grant benefits, incentives that are, and the investments that are established in these areas. We can see the fiscal incentives for labs that will facilitate the investors, the development of their products, and we can integrate this in the international markets. Also, we could see in the regimes that I just mentioned, we have the headquarters of multinational companies that will allow us to see here in Panama activities for internal services for multinationals, and it could be topics such as accounting, marketing, logistics from Panama for specific teams and for activity developments. And we have regional headquarters. Among these, we have Fortune 500, and there are companies that have believed in this legislation, and gladly we can provide more information about this. And also we have the legislation on movies that will allow us to develop film here with certain benefits, and also to invite and also the opportunity to develop in a more permanent way. This is administered by the Ministry of Culture. And with this, I wish that I have been able to give you a good overview of all the opportunities that are offered with the foreign investment, and we're here with the commitment with all of the needs for information. And here you could see our contacts via social media, so that if there are any additional information that you required, you can ask. And we wish to thank CAPAC, Expo, Hábitat for all this information, and we hope that this information is useful for everyone that has seen this, and I hope that you all have a great afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before we go to the next point of the program, CAPAC, we should thank you, Madam Vergara, for this presentation done in this virtual fair through all the embassies and consulates here in Panama. And now I will read some questions that have been selected so you can answer them. Question number 1 that we have over here: what incentives do we have to invest in Panama regarding the logistics hub? Well, the logistic hubs is composed by several sectors and different areas depending on the type of business that you're going to be performing within the logistic hub. That this could be one of the components between the logistic hubs. It could be the Panama Canal, ports, the airports, or some sort of an infrastructure way related to one of this. And we could do this to use the logistic hubs as a center of redistribution from Panama, producing their products from here. This is how we have the regimes from the free zones in Panama Pacifico, City of Knowledge, in terms of research development, or in the area of Colón, if we are talking about collection and repackaging of merchandise. So depending on the type of business that we wish to have within the logistics hubs, the type of guidelines and incentives that are just to this type of business. The important thing that we need to highlight here is that we have several opportunities within the logistic hub. This could be in certain instances the ones that are supporting the logistic hubs like the Panama Canal, and from the point of view of the use that we give to the Panama Canal and everything else. Thank you very much. We have a second question. These investment areas have a special treatment for the foreigners that work in the companies that are here? Yes. Yes, and gladly, and this is applicable for questions. You can get in touch to us in our social medias to propanama.gov.pa, and we can give you specific information on regards to the regimes of informations. Everyone has incentives that will allow you to work on this. And whatever the topic is, we definitely have to deal with the requirements for the legislations, and their spouses could also receive, aside from the special visas, the work permits, because we know that it's not the one that is not just the one that comes directly for the investment, but also their spouses, s- partners. They can also come as a family unit, and they will have to work the same way. And so these are some of the specific requirements to be able to grant this type of visas and work permits, and they have been contemplated for this type of permits. We have a third and last consult. Which one do you consider that should be an area that we need to explore here in Panama, that we could use for investment, and that where we could have an interest for them as well? We, in the topic regarding business attraction, we have a mantra, which is the type of investments that we're bringing. We've made this for the companies or sustainable investments with a social impact. We are concerned about promoting the preservation nationwide, and it's not just that Panama as a country that we need to have the support of the SDGs, and we have natural, renewable, and non-renewable resources, and we all Panamanians know the support that we have in the water with the and how the Panama Canal works, but also the quality of life for Panamanians, and everything that has to do with waste management, water management, all of the investments with that have companies that have a purpose that will help us to work in a positive way, that we can always find an ally. And we are able to see that the social impact could have a social impact to this on this, so that we could be more equitable, more sustainable, and more competitive. Thank you very much. And to conclude with your presentation, that has been extremely interesting, if you could have some conclusions regarding 2021, what is expected in regards to investment? Well, yes, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to know, I wish to thank about the invitation and to allow this space to ProPanama, and to thank everyone that's participating this year in Expo Habitat this year and everything, so that we could see what we're doing and what our country offers. In 2021, will be a year with challenges, and I believe that this year we've also learned a lot of lessons, and this will become best practices, not just for us, but for the country at a regional level or global level. And I believe that this is something that is going to help us a lot, especially since we are in this process of economic reactivation. We cannot think that we're gonna go back to the status quo after this pandemic, but we have something we have to move forward towards the future, transforming ourselves in something better and something more positive, something that will allow us that in upcoming situations we are able to avoid this in the future. But if we're not able to, we should take the rest us and the rest of the world better prepared to be able to mitigate this impact. So we from PROPANAMA, next year we will be reactivating some of the pre-sessional activities that are giving in the activities of attraction, promotion, and import of such as fairs, and this will all depend on the behavior next year for the pandemic. And also, it will depend on the behavior of the markets and everything that we're going to promote, and the level of impact for the process, for the recovery process. And we are getting prepared so that this year we are developing an amount of virtual fairs of commercial visions, Panama Days. We have virtual businesses. We have uh, something that a platform that would connect America. It's called ProPanama Connect, and we have approximately 500,000 companies from 200 different countries already incorporated. And with this, we do specific activities for attraction of investment and opportunities that already exist, as there are fresh products, services, digital economy of the creative industries. We are looking for this type of sustainable investment. As we could say, we have a social impact, so that, for example, we have public transportation, energy, development of products of a disruptive technology, and we will be promoted the new EMA, produce the new legislation for the public-private partnerships, that for next year we will have projects that we are going to allow everyone to know about those foreign services. This is going to be a year of recovery for us and for the rest of the countries in the world. And I hope that we can all work jointly so that we can all get out of this crisis faster and stronger. Thank you very much. On behalf of CAPAC and of the Fair Organizing Commission, we wish to thank you for the space and the time, and to all our visitors, we wish to invite you all to keep on following us on the social medias and to access our platforms www.feriascapac.com. To everyone, good afternoon.